Hello, I'm Amit Karmi. I'm the co-founder and the CEO at Set. I am here in this beautiful weather in London to understand what the hell our mobile game studios are doing with this thing called AI. I am personally obsessed about discovering the unfiltered truth of what the OGs of the mobile games industries are thinking and doing with AI, and most importantly, what are their biggest secrets of success in this new era of intelligence. This is Unpredictable Hits, the show for marketing and UA people around the globe to stay sharp, climb higher, and most importantly, don't get left behind in this new era of AI. Let's go. Shaun, it's great to have you here. So happy that you're here. We here in the podcast Unpredictable Hits, I spoke with you, I think the first time on January 2025, when Akin connected between us and we met via Zoom. I think we had a great conversation back then, and since then, a lot of conversation, mostly about the bits and bytes of how AI will really be implemented in the new game studios or this new AI studio, basically, of how it will look like and the future of mobile games. I think that you have one of the coolest career path, starting as a postman at the Royal Mail, producer in one of the coolest companies in the world, in PlayStation, Sony, then founding Hutch, selling Hutch for a lot of money, and now founding your new studio and a new endeavor utilizing a lot of AI. As a start, can you share a bit about your personal story and about your career?
Yeah, I think it's a funny. How long have you got? I'll try and keep it short, but I was one of those kids that was pretty enthusiastic and curious about lots of things, but I struggled at school. I couldn't sit still, and it wasn't really till. So essentially at 16, 17, I left school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I started a pirate video game business. So that's a bit you don't
God.
know. So I was phone hacking and all sorts of stuff and downloading games and selling them. So I was pirating games, which was really bad, but I that's why free-to-play works. I always was trying to build something, but I wasn't educated in the traditional sense. I wasn't stupid, but I just couldn't learn the traditional education way. So the reason I came to the UK was I was so passionate about games, and I was lucky, I think, as a young person to have a passion for something, because I think, you need more than passion, but I was like, I need to go to the UK. This is where the coolest games are made. I'm from New Zealand, so I can actually go there with a visa. I came here, and that's where I got a job in Royal Mail. I was like, oh shit, I can't actually get a job. I better figure this out. And at the time when I was working for Royal Mail, I actually really enjoyed that job. It was stimulating. I was like, there was no GPS. There was no phone with like Google Maps. I had to use a traditional map, and I'd go, right,
genius.
I want to get page 44 and on page 38, and I'd travel through pages. So it wasn't the most optimized way to get there. It was by page. But I remember seeing a giant green area on the map, and I thought it was the countryside, and it was actually Hyde Park. It was quite funny. So I got to know London. Did that for about 9 months. Really enjoyed it, but obviously it wasn't what I wanted to do for my life. And the .com boom was going crazy. It was 1999, and I got a job. I could do HTML, basic stuff, and I got a job working at Marks and Spencer, or I worked for an agency that worked for marksandspencer.com. But that job gave me the ability to get a job in games. So from project managing, I guess, digital products. And actually that job gave me more than that, which was this understanding of cost to acquire a customer and LTV. But then I went,
How?
Because I was working in e-commerce, and it was very early. It was like printed catalogs that we were converting into an e-commerce website, because it was a direct mail order team that were turning into the e-commerce team. And we came up with ideas like, why don't we sell furniture online? And people were like, how are you going to do that? So it's like, well, what if someone goes home after looking at the furniture and wants to buy the furniture? It ended up becoming this like really big product line. So everyone thought that was crazy. No one's going to buy furniture online. Anyway, they do. And then I got a job at Lionhead Studios, which I was absolutely made up with. It was like, wow, I'm going to work for Peter Molyneux. That's going to be amazing. He did Black and White, Populous, some of my favorite games. And then I joined that team and met a lot of good friends in the industry, and that was a hard job. We were working I had a job at 11 o'clock at night, and I'd go home at 6 a.m. because we were testing the end of Fable, which was
wow.
like
6 a.m.
Yeah, well,
What was the atmosphere back then in gaming?
The atmosphere was, you've got this much time until we ship the game. You need to work 24/7 to get it done.
Fuck.
And it was really, it was fucking hard. And sorry for swearing. And
We will
and
cut
I
it,
saw
we
a
will
lot of
cut
people
it.
get quite sick, and a lot of people getting quite frustrated and angry, and it was quite sad. But it was kind of amazing technology-wise, but it was also like going backwards because they had no concept of. I'd just been working in web development, and we were just they had to press it on a CD or a DVD, and they had no concept of patching at the time. This is like Xbox launching product, and they hadn't really had those day one patches going out, I don't think, at the time. So everything had to be perfect, and it was just going to be crystallized on a disk, and so we had to work crazy hours. But it was fun, and then I actually lost my visa to the UK and got kicked out of the UK and went back to New Zealand.
Oh my God.
And then I was like, right, I'm not going to work for Lionhead Studios. And they'd been acquired by Microsoft. And then I got a job at PlayStation, which I was just amazed by PlayStation. They had these like casual games, like SingStar. Like, that's a mad idea. All games at the time were just like swords and guns. And I was just amazed that this company could see an opportunity where the PlayStation was in the room, and you could entertain more than just teenage males. And I thought they were really clever. But I worked for 5 years at that company, and I worked on 3 games. Yeah, three games that all got cancelled. And I don't want to sound like a victim about games being cancelled, because they get cancelled all the time for good reasons. But man, I was like burnt out, done. Like, I don't want to. And they were often cancelled by email threads, and you didn't really know who was saying the season no. So I was like, actually, let's make a games company that could, like, when you talk about the game, the team are in the room, and you can give them feedback, and don't be a manager that cancels the game outside the room, sort of thing. So it was. I learnt a lot there. Eventually, I got let go, and they gave me some money. So that's when I started Hutch, and that was with 4 other people from PlayStation, and that was a gift. And we spent 6 months making one game, and it made $1 million. I convinced the group quite easily that we should not take the money out, because we were all working. Well, we weren't wealthy people. Having $1 million between 5 of us was quite exciting at the time. And I was like, let's just put the money back into the business and grow the business. And then we raised money about 4 million, so not a significant sum, but 4 million over the space of about 6-7 years. And we just
4 million that lasted for 6-7 years.
Yeah, well, we basically, I think we raised like 300 grand, and then we raised like some debt or a convertible note for about 500, and then we raised about 3 million. So we actually raised about 4 million over the space of.
And before, once you started Hutch, you had these 3 big projects in, like you said, the PlayStation that got canceled.
Yeah.
What are the learnings you gained from there that you implemented right away in Hutch?
The big thing was, I mean, this is the funny thing about Hutch was I'd gone for a job at Us Two, and who else was it? Mind Candy, and both got rejected because I had not finished a project. So I had this thing like, let's just finish a game that we believe in and get it to market and see what people think. And so our objective wasn't actually to become crazy rich. It was to actually just prove to people we could make a game, because I felt like held back by this problem of, you've worked for 5 years but none of your games have been shipped. And actually it's a significant problem for a lot of people working in AAA gaming on console. They, if you worked on GTA 6, you've probably got 2 more kids than when you started. It's like an 8-10 year long project. And GTA 6 will come out, but a lot of people work on games for 5 years and don't come out.
Wow,
And
this is insane.
Yeah, it
or
is
comes
insane.
out and you don't know how the market will react.
Yeah, and I've got a friend who's an architect, and I've a friend that works at Zaha Hadid, and he said he worked for 15 years on 2 projects.
Wow.
And that's a similar problem. And if you're judged by what you release, then that's a significant issue. So yeah, I was like, let's just ship a game. Let's make sure we love it and we care about it, and we ship this game. And I look back at the game, and it's funny because it's not a game I'd make today for sure, but it was a game we made at the time. The market was so different. Like, raising money was hard, but also there was less competition. A lot of people hadn't really woken up to mobile at the time. It was iPhone 4 that really, the 3D capabilities of it, Unity coming together. I mean, Unity had a massive impact on being able to ship games by yourself without having to have an engine and all that sort of stuff. So it was a very different time. Yeah.
And when you started Hutch, why did you decide to focus specifically on the racing genre?
Well, that came about by mistake. I mean, the
All of the good stuff.
Yeah. That's why you're going to make as many mistakes as possible and then find something good in there. The big thing when our first game was called Smash Cops, and it's quite crass now thinking about it, but there's something about O.J. Simpson,
of course,
the murderer. He was being chased down the highway
with the car police. Yeah. This famous from the helicopter.
Yeah. So Smash Cops, you were the police chasing O.J. Simpson, and I just had this gut feeling that Americans might like this. I don't know why. And
did they?
Yeah. We I sold it for $3. It wasn't even like at the time 99 cents was the big thing, and it got featured, and like it was crazy. It was really mad to see so much money pour into our bank accounts. At the time, I thought it was a lot, but we didn't have to do any marketing spend. So, yeah. Sorry, what was the question?
It's about why did you choose really
the
focus on?
Sorry, yes.
So you started like that, but then you doubled down on it, specifically on mobile, very free to play and stuff like that.
Well, through that, we realized that lots of games, the biggest entry point was the icon, like on the App Store.
Really? Back then you understood it?
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. And the icon was really important. But if you put a car on an icon, you know it's attached to a racing game, right? Mm-hmm. But if you put a character in an icon, it has to be a really well-designed icon to sort of draw you. Go, oh, I want that, like some sort of Pixar. We all know the Clash of Clans icon, right? It's significant. So we realized that there's not many people making car games because they're actually quite hard. And at the time, I was thinking, well, what problems are we solving? Let's try and figure out how to make racing games work on mobile, because everyone's like, don't make racing games, they don't work.
Yeah, because of the graphics, no?
Yeah, not just the graphics, the skill element of it. Yeah, and free to play, like if you're doing a traditional racing game, you're actually, if you come off the first corner, then how does the game work? Why would you invest your time and money into this game if like the economy has to be really well balanced? So we set forth and figured out like how do we make this racing game or racing genre work? And then we realized it's about the audience, not necessarily the genre. So it's not the mechanic. It's like there are people that love cars. So I'm very audience focused. And what do they love about cars? They like real cars, they like the brands, they like the stats. And so Hutch evolved into this amazing place where they were trying to entertain or are successfully entertaining people that love cars. But it's not through a traditional racing game. It's actually like Top Drives and Formula One, you don't actually race a car. But they've made almost $500 million, those two games. But they're like collectible card games, or Formula One is a light management game, and that's really powerful because you still give the player the sense that they're doing something in their favorite thing, but you don't have to rely on you being a dexterous, skillful player.
Do you personally love cars?
Well, man, that's a tough. I don't actually. I'm not actually. No, I'm not. I like cars. I like cars. I've got a cool car, but I couldn't call myself an absolute passionate car fan. But everybody around me, there were two founders that really loved cars. I didn't happen to love cars, but I'm the CEO. But they were so passionate about cars, and I don't think we would have done it unless they were there, because they knew everything about cars. And you need to have that in the business. If you're going to go after an audience, you have to have someone that's really passionate about that subject. Otherwise, you're going to make something that's just not going to hit the audience needs, I think. So what we did was we focused on entertaining that audience. We had people that really cared about the audience. I cared about the audience. I don't know the absolute stats of like brake horsepower of my car, for example. But they do. And I think these things really matter.
Yeah, for the audience, I think it's crucial in any game, but specifically in kind of a specific domain that is very Yeah, it's very detailed, and the
Yeah.
people that love it has this huge passion out of it. Like one of my friends is, he hear in the street the engine and can tell which car
Yeah,
is it.
yeah.
It's insane.
It is insane.
It's I told him that
It's a
this
signature,
data
right?
point in his mind,
Yeah.
it's just
Certain popping noise.
it's
and
insane.
It's
It's
like
just understanding which car it's. So yeah, what is your toughest actually lesson from Hutch?
I think growth is possibly the hardest. It's funny when you're building a business and you're winning, and like we were really starting to take off, and it's like this cross between your ego, managing your ego, and managing what you're trying to achieve. And I thought we were managing growth quite well, but actually, growth came with problems I didn't actually understand at the time, and I've gone through those, and I'm quite grateful to going through that experience. And I think at Hutch we've figured out like balancing that growth problem. But if you go from a team of 30 to 50, and then 50 to 100 during COVID, and then 100 to 200. Those sorts of growth spurts, like the way that the company's messaged and talked to and aligned, and how the teams manage themselves, is really tricky. And with the best intentions in the world, I feel like that was something I didn't enjoy, and something I reflect on. I wish I did some things better, but I'm not ashamed of it. But it's just like you don't anticipate some of the really complex problems about people and happiness and their jobs and actually making the right products. And it's growth is really challenging. And I think startups have this problem when they start seeing traction really quickly, and they start getting money and they start getting funding. Be very careful about how you grow, and prepare for managing your team in a certain way. So I've seen some companies scale up really well in some places. Some companies scale up and they're making so much money, it doesn't matter they're not that optimized or that well run. It's just they're printing so much money, they're just throwing money at the problem. And that can work because the money they're throwing at the challenge of building more things,
It's like making
it's insignificant compared to how much they're making, right? Yeah.
And it's difficult like to assess how effective is your team.
Yeah.
I can also spoke about that when Triple Dots grew like crazy, and the growth is in terms of the headcount is like insane. Like you said, 50 to 200 in a year or two. It's very hard to control, first of all, the messaging, the vision of the company, and the people at the edge, they not necessarily understand where the company is really heading and the culture that you want to have. And
I think that disengagement can be really tragic. Like people stop caring, and like you can't. But I really care about this company. But yeah, you're the founder or co-founder. It's like,
how do you avoid that? Do you think like after your lesson, like you learned it is a tough stage?
I think there was an investor that said to me something really powerful. He said at YouTube, when we had too much work and too few people, we all just got on with it. And when we went through this growth spurt and we got too many people and not enough work, it got ugly. And I thought that was a really interesting quote, because I think like organizations, bureaucracy, chain of command, all these things that come into place when you've got a large amount of people that you're working with, it's really tricky. And I think you have to have really sensible, good people around, which is always hard to hire. And to bring people on board. I think you can grow slowly, but growing at a rapid pace to deal with the supply-demand issue that you've got, or whatever it is really, really, really hard to bring them on board. And you got to have your infrastructure in place. And I don't mean IT infrastructure, I mean your values, your...
Exactly. Yeah, people think it's just the machine of those stuff, but you need the machine of exactly like that, the culture itself. How do you deliver it consistently?
And actually you can, if you have a plan of what you want your culture to be, that's better than not having anything at all. And that can be really risky. And sometimes the values might need to change when you go through these different stages of scale. So I think a lot of games business the last couple of years have been managing the fact that everyone's scaled up a bit too much and they're right sizing. And I think that's really hard. And you've got different leaders dealing with different problems in that space. And I think it's a really interesting time, but it's kind of the same as the growth times. but in an inverse way. So
Yeah, interesting. Now it's actually it's amazing advice, because we are now at SET facing the same situation. We're 40 people. I think this is the stage when you're 30, 40, maybe 50, and you're thinking, okay, I want to reach these type of goals.
yeah,
How many people do I need, and who are those people, and etc. And then you think like the obvious thing, because I think you have this misconception from the industry that this is kind of judge you based on, or people in the industry judge you of how many money you raised, how much money, and how many people are you. It's like the first question that people ask me on the street, like how many people are you now at SET? It's like it indicates on success, but it doesn't.
It's just not true.
So it's
right?
like if I said, yeah, we're going to be 100, they're going to say, wow, it's like insane, but why that?
Yeah. Why do you
And
need
we have
100?
this goal to reach to 60 in order to reach our big goals in 2026, because today we'll speak about it, how it's also impact, and mostly like studios, AI, and what you can do with it. But yeah, it's just a very interesting time to discuss actually stuff like org chart.
Yeah.
And me and Yoni, my partner, now with our R&D, we're thinking a lot like, and he's now changing a lot of stuff there, and new structure of more innovative companies that we take example from, like Anthropic, OpenAI, companies that have this research all of the time and the engineering. And maybe it's the time, to think differently, because you have different capabilities.
Totally. This is an amazing time for that, and really rethink how we can do things and how we can structure things. And that's why I'm so excited about this next evolution and like all industries, like the internet, mobile social. I said this before, like these are significant changes in behavior. It creates a real opportunity to change things up. I read the other day that OpenAI, this is going to sound silly, but OpenAI's got 3,000 staff. I don't know why. That is a lot, but I thought they must have more. And I think why people go, how many people you got? It's the most measurable thing people can understand of success. But actually, this new phase, I think, is a phase of not measuring it that way. It's your outcome. Your output of what you do is the measurement. And I thought 3,000 people is not a lot of people for what OpenAI is dealing with. But I think Anthropic might be smaller. Yeah, and I think that's the key to Anthropic catching up so quickly.
So fast.
It's so fast.
They're maintaining this startup mentality also.
Yeah, and that energy, if you can capture that small, I call it thinking big but acting small. So
I love it.
Have this massive ambitious idea, but how can we do it in the smallest footprint going and all be satisfied and have fun doing it?
It's amazing.
Yeah, and it's a really powerful thing, because like Anthropic have only been around for 3 years. And it's
when you say it like
they're doing
that,
4 billion in revenue in 6 months or something. It's like mad. That's the
3
fastest.
years. It's insane.
It's insane.
It's
Yeah.
For us now, it's also like now when you're doing, this type of or do you have kind of a workflows that now exist because of like LLMs, and when you do prompt and something gets out, now we are used to it. But think how crazy is it that you can just write in text and something insane you have as a result.
Yeah.
And we got used to it, like every innovative stuff and every disruption in the past, and you get used to it fast. But it's really new era. It's a new era.
It's a new paradigm. I'm getting used to it, but then I go to a board meeting or something, and I realize that I'm in my bubble, and this has become normal, and it's still lacking adoption in the outside world. I'm like, why are you doing that when you can just do this? And like, how do you do that? I might just chuck the file in there and read it. Like, I don't think some founders realize we all chuck a board pack and don't share it back to model into the model to go, what questions should I ask? What I tend to do is if I'm looking at a board pack, which is not sharing back to model, I write all my questions and I chuck it in and I put in the board pack. And like, why isn't the founder doing the same thing so he knows what questions I'm going to ask? And it's like, I asked this question, like, no, do you do that? It's like, yeah, I'm not breaching any privacy here. This is all retained.
Wow, insane.
And it made me smile that like, oh man, people still haven't clicked into that mindset yet, but they will do. It's a rising tide, right? It's
I think I think the smaller, now it's a great time, we'll speak about it, to start something new actually, because you don't have like the tech depth or the step depth.
Yeah.
And now you can really think like an innovative person. It's really, you need to be an early adopter in your mind, and you need to have this kind of dynamic mind when now, and you know it when now you're opening a new startup. And how do I build it? Because you should do it differently. But we will speak about it in a sec. We have a surprise for you, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. This is Unpredictable Hits. The reason this is the name is because we celebrate hits, and in entertainment in general, especially gaming, but also movies, series, you can't really predict the success. And we took and we celebrate hits. And one of the hits, the new hits that is, I assume it's close to, is Formula One, the brand you work with for a long time.
Yeah.
And there is a new movie with Brad Pitt. I don't know if you saw it.
No, I haven't seen it yet, no.
But because you look better than Brad Pitt, we created you a picture.
Oh, no way.
I believe that you will love for you to have in your new office. You can show it to the camera and everyone.
Thanks. My kids will,
It's a good one.
Yeah, that'll take me to town on this. Thank you. Pole position, the game changer. Thank you.
It's a good one. And as you can put it there or anywhere you want, but it's a small game.
I'm not sure my wife will think I'm better looking than Brad Pitt.
No, you look good. You look good here and you look good here, but this is, you should put it above your...
Yeah. That's my, I'll ask him to speak for me in a second.
Amazing. And the game that we're now playing, it's a simple game, but we have question in the car. I don't know what the question is, but you can pick one of them and just read the question and then answer it.
This is a mystery box type.
I don't know. It's gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah, gotcha questions. Well,
Let's see.
By the microphone. Hello, I'm back. What's the hardest part of being you that people don't see on LinkedIn? That's interesting.
Wait, can you repeat that? I didn't hear.
What's the hardest part of being you that people don't see on LinkedIn?
Wow.
I think the amount, this is a funny answer, but the amount of tax advisors and people spamming me for my inbox, I've given up on reading LinkedIn. I use LinkedIn, it's powerful, but I've got an inbox that's like, I think it's got like 3,000 messages in it. Wow. Anyway, that's one thing. What's a real authentic question? Answer. I think, I don't know. I think my success, which has been amazing, I'm very grateful for. I think people think I might have more answers than I do. I don't know. And everything's easy, and it's not. Like, I'm still a normal human being. I don't know. It's it's you get, and I can imagine, like Akin, for example, he's been really successful, and people look to him for answers, and I get this all the time, and I do have an opinion, and I think we've all got interesting opinions, and that's what we learn from, but I definitely don't have the opinion. So yeah.
People stop messaging you.
Yeah. No. It's like I get a lot of people just saying, "Can I give you? Do you need some tax advice?" I'm like, no. So I'm just overwhelmed with messages on LinkedIn. I need to sit down for one day and just get through them all. Or just delete them all and start again.
You should delete your LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Maybe this is the right answer.
I like them. I do use it, but I very quickly get people off the messaging app. So, yeah.
Okay, now let's delve deeper a bit to gaming. And why do you think now it is the best time to open a new studio?
Well, I think it's so like AI is such a huge subject at the moment, but there's like the doomsday, and then there's the light side, and everyone's like, it's going to destroy us. I don't think it is. I don't, and I think currently I'm self-funding because I have the luxury of being able to do that with my co-founders, and we are very excited about building a business because it feels like there's a big shift, and the shift we're taking part in, and we don't know where it's taking us. So it's so creatively, it's really exciting. But it's not just about creativity. It's about how do we change a company and keep it. I think we're going to see more smaller companies. I think the capability of like people being able to do stuff is going to be huge, and I think it's not just about building more art assets. I think it's about bureaucracy. I think it's about I call it the permissionless culture. So
I love it. Permissionless culture.
Yeah, a permissionless culture. So like if I actually have to contribute, I have to start learning how to put stuff into a company. So it might at some point be code in the game. It might, but at the moment I'm building productivity tools, and I've never coded in my life, and I'm doing this with my team's help. but I'm actually so overjoyed by it. So I'm like learning how to bring this machine into our work life, and it knows everything we're doing. It's got every transcript of every conversation we're having, and we're like figuring out what it thinks, and it's quite wrong all the time, but we're changing the way that the business is run. And I find that incredibly exciting. And if you see a problem in the game, just because you're an artist doesn't mean you're here to do art. That the job title is gone, the specialism is there. You're an artist, that's your specialism, but you can now possibly write code and change and fix the game. So like it doesn't fall back to these age-old confinements of you just do art. You're freeing up people to contribute to the game, including me. I'm not just a leader anymore. I need to contribute to the success of this business, not just through leadership. I have to produce stuff. And I think that's like, and when I start producing stuff, I start seeing the world from their perspective. I'm like, oh shit, I can see why me asking you that question all the time is annoying. And like I get some, I get some empathy for the team. And it's really like that in itself is quite powerful. You know, I heard the story.
It's extremely powerful.
Yeah, I heard the story about Grand Theft Auto. Used to be, I don't know if the story is true, so hopefully this doesn't get fact checked, but this is the story I heard. Used to be cops chasing robbers, and some I think I might have told you the story on the call. Yeah, and I love the story because this is kind of backs this up. It's like the police are chasing the bad guys, and some engineer at his lunch break decided to switch it around to being you are the robber being chased by the cops. I should have made my Smash Cops game. You would O.J. Simpson. And what's powerful about this person had the instinct or passion and care and love for the business to change that around, and it completely changed the game and made it better. If that person had done that, would Grand Theft Auto be around today? And this is the old 2D version of Grand Theft Auto. But it really tells me that everybody's got something in the team that can do stuff. And if you create the right infrastructure for people to test and try things out, then it's like this chain of command bureaucracy completely changes. And that's what excites me.
How do you, this is a very interesting question. The answer will be amazing, but how do you now choose your people to your team based on this learning and new capabilities?
I think the first thing is there's a lot of people that don't like AI, so that gets rid of 50% of people that you choose.
You have 25 that are saying they love AI. You ask them what they do, emailed in ChatGPT.
Yeah, exactly. No, and I think I do. Yeah, I get why people are scared about it, but I think you need to learn more about it and understand it more. But there's a fear of it. I think there's also an overhype of it because I went in there thinking, this is going to be all easy. I can do all this stuff. And actually, oh my God, the more I control it, the harder it is. It's really unstable and it's really hard to direct. And actually, that's where the value is. That's where you can actually create a lot of value. It's like learning how to work with it to help you be creative. But and I think people's passion and enthusiasm for making fun games is a big thing for us. But also openness to try new things out is really exciting for us. So. We're not in a hiring spree. We're trying to purposely stay small. I'm trying to stay connected to what we're making, and I think that will make a better, a more exciting new AI first company. I think that's what excites me. And if I can create an environment where people feel freed up to try things, to get things done, to really contribute, then that's super interesting. So yeah,
it's amazing. And now. When you're building the studio and you're saying you want to keep the team lean, which maybe teams in the specific, if we're speaking about the company as a whole, which team do you think will be impacted the most by AI from what you already saw and predicting, of course, and how?
Interesting. I don't kind of see the world like that. I see it like how can, I don't know how to answer that question. It's an interesting question because if I was in my old role with my mobile social company, then I might go, oh man, like this department's going to be really impacted by it. But one thing I was really amazed by is how you can take really like big data sets and it can structure it for you and it can help you find answers. You've got like AI is as good as the question, so you've got to ask the right question of it. But like analysts, we need an analyst, but we don't, like analysts needs to write the question, but their job is immensely more different now because it's actually very good at understanding what's going on. So I think that's one big area that I was surprised by. And I've heard of people saying, I need to hire more analysts. And I said, why are you not using Claude? Like, what? Can you do that? I'm like, oh my God.
Just try.
Yeah, just try. And
As
like,
your analyst to try, baby.
Yeah. And,
your first one.
And then you start thinking, well, what if the BI system has an LLM in it and it's actually the business interacts with the game via chatbot, and your brain just starts boggling and going, wow, this is really exciting. We can actually be enabled by it. And not just art assets. Everyone just talks about making more
the content generation people usually speak, but the data part is even more impactful.
Yeah, it's huge. And then, like, what if it gets as far as you and I have talked about, where players can start to get tools a lot easier to add stuff to their game and like change their experience, or there's like marketing is going to massively change, and we've talked about this as well. It's like really, really fascinating. Like, what if I've got the same game? So I'm drifting off a bit, but what if I've got the same game, but the art style looks different because the ad you served was the ad that they like the art style of. So I've got the same game, but it's got 7 different art styles, and like you're dynamically
doing
changing
hyper personalization.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's really, really it's really, really fascinating. But I don't know if that hits a department, but it changes the mindset of everybody in the team. So you need to be quite adaptable and you need to be quite excited about the opportunities. One other problem we've seen or experiencing is there's so much news. You must get this like every day. It's like news. You're like, oh my God, what is this thing? I have to read it. Oh, it doesn't really mean much. I got just wasted 10 minutes of my life. I need an agent to read all the stuff for me and tell me if it's true or not.
We have it in the office like crazy. Every time, and no matter what comes out, everyone is shouting, posting in the WhatsApp groups, in the Slack groups. It's like insane.
Yeah, and it's really, it's quite I feel overwhelmed. When the internet came out, it wasn't like this. This is different. Like there wasn't. Do you know what I mean? You were probably still at school.
Yeah, I was 2 years old.
2 years old. Okay, wow.
I experienced it differently.
Yeah, you definitely experienced it differently. So when I first started seeing the internet, it was hard for me to understand what it was actually doing at the time, but it was still, conceivable. Well, I think I saw it in 95 or 6 at a university thing. I was looking up, I was doing research on my heart operation. So it was a very mind-blowing time.
And one of the things that we spoke about, I think, in our January conversation, and after that also together with Yoni and your co-founder, is about creating fun games. You are very into, you have your audience, what is the experience that they want and what the feeling they want them to get. And the hard part is to create fun. Actually. So how do you think today you can decide when you have a new games launch that this is fun enough in order to move to the next steps and double down even more?
That is the hardest question.
It's a tricky one.
Oh my God. If you ask anyone that works in games to find fun, everyone's got a different answer. And that's what's amazing about the games industry. Like quite often we see games being made and it's like, oh man, this is crap. And it's like, just wait. And that some of all parts come together and suddenly it just clicks and it's fun. So I think I am going to give a decent answer to this question, but it's like the magic of a game is scientifically quite hard to break down, like this percentage here. Like, it doesn't work like that. There are games that are frustrating, but when you learn it, it creates this aha moment and you go, yeah, oh, I'm so glad I went through that frustration because it's fun. And it's like, when did frustration become fun? like we made a game, Hill Dash, at Hutch, and the harder we made it, the more it retained. And that blew our mind But then we realized it's because we did something else that we didn't realize that was good, which is you could press restart really quickly. So, so you're playing, you get punished, but you press restart. And then we're like, I think it's the restart ability that's making it fun. And like, you just one more go. And like, I don't think we ever put that on paper, but you start to learn these things and instinctively understand them. So I would never say I fully understand an audience needs. I think the world is too dynamic and mad. I see games out there and I'm like, wow, that's working. I never would have thought that would work. And it gives me joy because someone's always out there. Like Dreams, like they're making a match 3 game. Playrix just did this to King, and then Dreams did it. Like it's like wow.
And you have more companies now that are a good job for Dream.
It's
just continuing and continuing.
The evolution of what our needs are. But I think like if you're saying what are the absolute basics of making a fun game, it's got to be usability. It's got to be, does it load fast? Is it portrait? And not all games need to be portrait, but does it answer and solve the questions you put forward to why you're making this? Who are you making it for? Like, these are basic questions. Like, who is it? Who's playing it? And why would they play it? But the usability, if you made something fun in the development studio, but it doesn't load or takes a minute to boot up, then what's the point, right? So I think a lot of developers have challenges with that. I've had challenges with that at Hutch. When we first launched Formula One, it crashed for about 2 months every 5 minutes. Yeah, and like we were sweating. Like, oh my God, we've let Formula One down. And it was really hard, and we had to rebuild the whole server stack, and it was horrible. And then we turned it on, it worked, and the game really worked. So we
when you're saying the game worked, what do you mean by that?
Worked?
Yeah. How do you consider it is a successful game? Like, how do you make this decision?
I think when you're a company that has limited funds and like top drives just before we launched Formula One, top drives had started to work for about a year. So we were starting to get some money in the bank, but we had a lot of personal pressure on ourselves to really make something quite special for Formula One. But we could see players coming into it, and we could see the game was being really deeply impacted by the server architecture we built. And it was no one's fault. It was an innocent mistake of what we had planned. But we could see that for a start, the data was showing the game wasn't crashing anymore. So that was a big deal for us. And we would stress when there were Grand Prix weekends because we know the games would just start, like the downloads would kick in. And then we could see conversion increasing. So that's when it was working. And like for us with limited funds, we were always very keen to see first signs of ROAS very, very, very quickly. So we'd be very conscious of people spending quite early. You know, there are some companies that don't do that. They will be very patient to like get you really into the game.
Yeah,
and then not hit you with not monetize. And that patience I really admire, and the ability to be that patient is really great. But for us and our marketing, we really needed players to spend. So, yeah. So that's.
I'm asking you another tough question because you're my AI gaming person. Yeah. So, how do you think the world of human creativity will be involved with the world of AI today?
I think it's essential. I think emotions and authenticity. I think we still have a massive role. I think we're working with the machine to do better work, and I think we have a massive part to play. I think we're going to play it differently. I think we're going to see some really cool companies coming out of it in the next couple of years, and then everyone will stop talking about AI. It's just going to be the world, right? And it's like it's what we do. And I mean, it already has become like that. Like all our behavior is massively changing.
Yeah, but your approach is really innovative about this. You're, I think, ahead of most of the...
What, the permissionless culture? Yeah. I mean, I want to make my teams so engaged with what we make that they don't... Like, we're almost governed by the AI. Like, we're working on it and it's really fun. And actually, like, how can we make people happier and, like, make better games, like with the support. And the proof will be in the pudding in the next couple of years to see what we do. But it's really, really exciting. Like, I'm really amazed. People are not going, wow, this is changing the world, and like this is going to make me make things I've never been able to make before, and actually enable my players to make things they've never made before. But yeah, maybe I am overhyped for it. I don't know.
No, I think that it's I think you understood it pretty early, and look, you're implementing it now with an AI first studio, which is, look, it's amazing. I believe, like you said, that you will have a lot of followers, a lot, and I assume that most of the companies will be like that. And it leads me to the next question, which is also one of the toughest.
Right.
When everyone will have AI, which it will happen at the end, because you are saying you have the bell curve, the classic, you have innovators, early adopters, and then you have the late adopters and the bloomers.
Yeah.
It will happen, everyone will have it. What will be the competitive edge for a gaming studio?
Distribution, without a doubt. I love, like, when I first got into games, a lot of my friends would come to me and go, "Oh, I've got this great idea," and then they'd be like, "I need you to sign an NDA before you see my idea." I'm like, "Dude, you're my friend. Like, why do we need to do an NDA?" And then I'll be like, and then I found my way with it. I'm like, listen, ideas are cheap.
Exactly.
Execution is really hard. And now I think we've gone to the next layer where, like, ideas are really cheap still. Execution is going to get a lot cheaper, and distribution is hard. So, like,
Marketing.
Marketing.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's all beyond marketing.
Yeah, I think being seen when text to speech is text to games is a thing. Like, it's going to put out a lot of crappy games. So you're going to have consumers that are or players that are very hesitant to get sucked into another game. And I think the human curated, aided with AI, adding something like some soul to what we make is going to be really important. I think film and music have been, not with AI, but been massively impacted by all these new distribution platforms, and being seen is really hard. Like, I can now pretty much get most films I want without leaving the house, and I'm overwhelmed with choice, right? And it's going to get more choice. And that industry is being like, oh, how do we get people to see a game or see our films? I think games are going through that now. And like, how do you stand out? And I don't have an answer for that.
Wow.
Yeah, but I do know that making a game is no longer just development. Like, marketing and game making are the same team. They have to build it together, and they have to work on the signals to understand what's going on with the game and be informed by the marketing side, and the marketing get informed by the game people. And it's like we are one team, and we've got to really up our game and understanding what people want. There's no excuse anymore. You've got so many tools out to understand what people are talking about, what people think, the pace of things that are moving. So yeah, distribution is absolutely the most important thing.
We see it actually, with a lot of B2B companies now as well.
Yeah.
The shipping products that might be more like, has this B2C, let's call it, approach.
Yeah.
And, you start small, like PLG and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You see that distribution becomes very, very important, because the other part, which is to create the product, is becoming commoditized.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's easier.
Yeah.
Like, content generation in general will become a commodity at the end.
Yeah,
the question
exactly.
is when.
Yeah, I think what you're working on is super interesting. And we've had really good, like, well, not academic, but really awesome chats about the future and what and what can happen. And it's like, I saw the twinkle in your eye, like, yeah, this is quite sci-fi, but no, this is becoming a reality. And it's like, how do we deal with that? And so you look at the big players, Google, Facebook, AppLovin, these guys are awesome. They're big partners for everyone, but like, there is room to really figure out how to get our content to players. And that's what I'm personally with Anorak, like, focusing on real world communities and thinking about what's authentic for them, what can we do for them that gets them to talk outside of a digital platform, and really create a platform for them to be the space that they play in. And I'm focused on a racing game at first, but that's where we start, and I think that's going to be a really, really major part of trying to figure out an already congested market. How do we actually stand out? So
It's amazing. Like it's super aligned with what I think about the world, and I think because I have my bias, so I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah.
Now, when do you think is the right timing to have your first marketing hire for a studio? Because I know a lot of studios that used to postpone this decision,
They do
right?
it to the end, right? Well,
Yeah,
they do
it was like,
a month
okay, when
before
we
launch.
need to soft launch and stuff like that, I can open the campaigns. But now it's becoming crucial because you have the classic UA channels, but you're taking another approach. You're saying, I want a community-driven growth, word of mouth and stuff like that, because it's way more efficient, right? It's way more efficient.
Yeah, I mean, that's just one aspect of it, community. But actually, that's a great question because we have been... So we started the business a couple of months ago, and we've just made our first marketing hire.
Which is fast compared to other companies. Very fast.
But it's really... And it's a certain type of marketer that you need to hire. It's really interesting. That person has given us some headaches because they've pointed out things he thinks are wrong, and I think he's right. And I'm glad I've got those headaches now. And it's exactly why we needed to hire him now. Because you think, what's a marketer going to do? Like we haven't got a game to market. It's like, no, that's the point. That person's like trying to figure out if your hypothesis, I've got an idea, it does this is what the player base wants. Do we know that that's true? The marketer needs to go out and find out, does your hypothesis work? Is it a reality? And there's no machine that will tell us this game's going to be a hit, but we're reducing our risks every day. So, and that's what gets me excited. So I think people need to hire marketing really early. But it has to be a certain type of person. It's not just a person.
What is the certain type?
Well, I think if it's and all marketers are awesome, but this has always been tough for me. But like people that are thinking about the audience, they're representing the player in the room, and they're sparring with the game people or the designer or the creative director about what they're trying to do. And you're not trying to be a marketing-led company. You're not trying to be a game-led company. You're trying to bring both these two groups of people together to make an awesome product. And I think that's a really interesting challenge. And I think we've done the right thing. We'll see.
Yeah,
but it's like it's really I'm really glad we've done it. And it's because the meetings have changed. Like the way we're looking at our product, he's challenging us on our assumptions. And assumptions are dangerous, really dangerous, especially when
it's important to have, but it's dangerous to be biased.
It's really important, and it's like, and finding that person that you that can have an opinion, but not like really involve the team and make sure that everyone's heard. It's a tricky hire. I've been looking for the right marketers at the right place to bring teams together for years, and it's really hard.
It's very hard. I think it's the biggest struggle for every company that we work with, especially when the small ones that, sometimes the CEO is still doing the marketing or stuff like that, and maybe they have the first hire. It's one of the toughest hires. It's very, very hard to find a good marketer today because you see a lot of people that is just, repeating the same template.
Yeah,
let's
you have
open
a very
Facebook,
science-driven
let's
marketer,
open
right?
Uplovin, let's open that.
Yeah. You have a really science-driven, then you have a creative-driven, and it's like the art and science. If you can kind of get something in the middle that understands how important the science is, but also how important the art is in terms of like feelings and storytelling, and that's why I think storytelling and emotions are so important with AI, and how people are overlooking why you're going to stand out, because you've got a story that shocks people or amazes people, makes people happy. Like you films stand out when they break a trope. It's like how can we not be an average games company? How can we change it?
Amazing.
And that's how you stand out, because probabilistically this is the average thing, and like if we make something that's like different, then
over the top.
Yeah, hopefully. So we'll see.
I believe it. I believe in you. I believe in the team.
Oh, thanks.
I have a specific quote of you. I hope
really?
it's your quote.
Oh,
that I would
what
love
did
to.
I say now?
I really want you to elaborate about your thinking there and now, also with the new world of AI and your new lean, really lean startup and lean studio. How do you think about it? I will read it, not to make mistakes, but
Okay. I'll
you
drink some
said in
water.
the past, hopefully, there is somewhere a studio of 7 people that is going to make more money than a 1,000 people studio. Can you tell us more about this sentence?
Yeah, I mean, there was a one-person studio that made more money than a 1,000-person studio, which is Minecraft. I can't actually remember saying that, but I feel like I've said it. So I think it's true, and I think it's. I mean, if you look at what Supercell did in the very early days, it was pretty phenomenal. But when did I say that?
I think back then.
A long time ago.
Long
Yeah,
time
yeah.
ago,
And I think I mean, Supercell did it. I don't know what I was talking about, but
But now, how do you think maybe with
I think it's still really possible. I mean, we just talked like before we caught up, like Anthropic versus like OpenAI. It's 3 years old. OpenAI is what, 10 years old.
yeah,
And it's like, and it's kind of a bit silly to be competitive in that sense because they're both amazing companies. But we are seeing like economics getting turned upside down with like what people can achieve, and like you don't have to be a company, be a big company to be successful. You do need good people, you do need resources, you do need money, and you do need to make some major decisions along the way. But I think people are quite capable of doing amazing things, and it's not always about having the biggest team, for sure. And
Yeah,
the bigger
for
the
sure.
team, the harder it is,
It
in,
is,
in my opinion.
I agree with you.
Yeah, it's really
And we're
hard.
still not that big, but it's
Yeah.
just, you know what I mean.
Yeah, I do know what you mean, and I feel for you, but I think your heart's in the right place because you already recognise there's challenges, and a lot of people just close up and go, right, we're just doing this, and but alignment in companies is really challenging.
Oh.
Yeah, and that's actually one of the things I'm excited about with AI, and like having this having a machine help us and aid us to understand what we're talking about and why we're doing things, and going, you're missing a big gap. There are people talking about a different thing, you know, and we're doing that. Like, it's really fascinating.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's amazing.
yeah.
Oh. Shaun, for the last question.
Yep.
What are your biggest recommendation for someone, a founder that is now opening in new studios?
My biggest recommendation, you know, it's interesting. I've always wanted to talk to new founders because they have some, like, we can all learn from each other. And I'm now 50. I turned 50 this year, and I'm seen as I'm not an old timer. I'm young at heart, but like, the more you talk to people and get out there and give back and like support and help each other, the better we all are. And I think building your own community of people that are helping each other is really key. I think that's a big thing. But again, also being relentlessly focused. And I think it's hard because there's so much stuff happening. So I think there are some founders that might be a bit shy, and then there's some that's not. But yeah, building out relationships, putting yourself out there, I think is key. But yeah, I hope that helps.
Amazing. No,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
So, Shaun, first of all, I think that you are the most innovative guy in terms of AI in gaming today. So
Oh, really?
in my opinion.
Well, that's good to know.
I'm saying it just for the camera.
Yeah.
But no, really, this is my truly honest opinion. And I don't know if you know, but I hope and I believe that for all of the listeners here, that what you said, it was amazing about how to really utilize, because everyone is speaking about AI, right? It's an amazing buzzword, but then when you delve deeper into those companies, you just see that people use it for asset creation and for emails and for stuff like that,
Yep.
and not really utilizing the power of it. Even what you said about putting the right data, know how to ask the right queries in order to, I don't know, either to replace, enhance your data analysis efforts in the company, and which is something that I consider, not very insanely innovative.
Yep.
It's something that most of the companies are not doing, and people are super hungry for this information, and it was amazing.
Yep.
So I really thank you for being here. It was amazing, and I love you a lot.
Oh, thank you, man. I appreciate the love, and I'm definitely not the only one. I know there are like there's no way. I definitely know that there's some amazing people thinking about the same stuff as me. This is not all my original ideas, but I'd like us all to talk more and free up those ideas and help us all be successful, because it's an amazing time right now.
Amazing.
And everyone's like, everyone's losing jobs. It's like, we're creating jobs. I'm creating jobs. And I think we should just calm it down a bit.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Shaun, thank you very much, my friend.
Cool. No worries. Thank you. Thanks for having me on.